I saw this movie a couple of days ago, and I am still processing it because, oh my god.
We only do this every 90 years. I was most excited for you to come.
So Midsommar is a new folk horror film that's written and directed by Ari Aster, the same man who brought us last year's Hereditary. And in this film we follow a couple, Danny and Christian, who are played by Florence Pugh and Jack Reynor, as the two of them are on the verge of a breakup. However, one night when Danny experiences a terrible tragedy within her family, the two of them go back together. But then Danny finds out that Christian is going on a vacation with his friends to a village in Sweden, so as a result, she decides to go along with them to try and just unwind and forget about the tragedy. However, when they get there, when it seems that this village is very peaceful and tranquil, they find out that there are some rather unsettling things about what they are doing. Alright guys, so let's get into Midsommar. Midsommar was not only one of my most anticipated movies of the summer, but this was one of my most anticipated movies of the entire next to Doctor Sleep and It Chapter 2. I mean, I was looking forward to this movie so much, mainly because I loved Ari Aster's last film, Hereditary. So of course, because I love this film so much, I was highly eager to see Midsommar, to put it lightly. And in terms of Midsommar, this is a cinematic experience that I will not forget about for quite some time. In terms of performances, Jack Reynor is very good as a person, even though his character is a complete dickhead to Danny throughout the entire film. He is still pulling a very good performance in some scenes that you can totally tell. The tension between Jack Reynor and Florence Pugh just feels so real. Will Poulter is terrific in this movie as really just the comedic relief, but this is, without a doubt, Florence Pugh's movie. Florence Pugh in Midsommar, I mean, good God, she is phenomenal to say the least. Now, I loved Florence Pugh in Fine With My Family, the movie in which she was playing Paige the wrestler. She gives such a ferocious performance, not just her sadness, but her grief, the anger that she feels. There is a particular scene in which she just displays this grief and anger after what she is experiencing. What she's going through in this one scene had me floored. Another thing that I absolutely loved about Midsommar was the look of this film. The cinematography, the production design, the art style. This movie looks absolutely immaculate from start to finish. The color palette that Ari Aster uses, this film uses a very vibrant, very bright colors with some darkness to it from time. This is a movie that when you look at certain shots, that it wants to put you in a state of tranquility and just a state of a trance, really. And another thing that I loved about Midsommar was the score. The score for this film, to say the least, is euphoric. From the opening chants that you hear to the end scene score, which, by the way, I could describe to you guys how amazing it was. The main question I know you guys are going to be asking is this: is Midsommar scarier than Hereditary? I wouldn't say that Midsommar is quite scary. This is definitely a film that's much more unsettling than Hereditary. Hereditary was straight up traumatizing for how scary it was. I mean, there are scenes in Hereditary that when I still watch, that still get me to this day. But Midsommar is one of those films that, like I mentioned before, this film is lovely to look at, but there are moments in the film that, in its beauty, that it decides to just sweep the rug underneath you to show you the unsettling interiors of this film. And to that end, there are some deeply disturbing scenes that this movie shows you while it's in its just state of tranquility. There are a couple of scenes in this movie into which I was just watching, and then all of a sudden I was just like, oh shit. But yeah, if you guys are expecting more of the in-your-face scares that Hereditary has, Midsommar doesn't really have that. This is a much different type of horror film than Hereditary was. But when it comes to tension, there are a couple of scenes in Midsommar into which how a scene will play out. I mean, there are stretches of scenes in Midsommar into which the tension just rises and rises to the point where you're just thinking, okay, what's gonna happen? Who is going to snap right here? Who is going to try and kill someone right here? I mean, there are a couple of scenes in which the tension just ghosts. Another thing about Midsommar is that at times this film was surprisingly pretty funny. And this is all due to Will Poulter's character, because Will Poulter has a lot of moments in which he will say a line that is a nice breaker of tension that had me and pretty much everyone in the theater cracking up. And then there's the ending scene. I loved the ending so much for Midsommar. Another question I know you guys are going to ask me is this: do you prefer Midsommar or Hereditary? For me, it's Hereditary, because Midsommar definitely has its issues. One of my biggest issues with Midsommar was the pacing. Now, this film is about 2 hours and 20 minutes, almost 2.5 hours. Now, like I mentioned before, there are scenes in which they do stretch out quite a few sequences for tension's sake, and for me, it didn't always work. Now, of course, there are a couple, like, 2 scenes I can think of into which I was just thinking, okay, what is gonna happen right here? But there are others in which I just thought, are we going somewhere with this? And to that end, I can see that a lot of people feel very frustrated that the movie won't be getting on with things. Another one of my issues with Midsommar was just the fact that I wasn't nearly as frightened as I was with Hereditary. Now, again, it's kind of hard to compare the scares with Hereditary because this is a much different type of horror than Hereditary was, but I still couldn't walk away feeling that I just didn't feel as unsettled as I did with Hereditary. I also found Midsommar a couple of times throughout the film predictable. Like, for example, there is a particular scene in this movie in which once a character is about to do something, you just think, okay, yeah, that character's probably gonna die, right? And another thing is this: if you've seen the original Wicker Man, it is very clear that Ari Aster has been very influenced by the Wicker Man making this film, because there are certain story beats that are very similar from this film and The Wicker Man. And something else that I wasn't a fan from time to time in this movie was the comedy. Now, one thing that Ari Aster will try and do in Midsommar throughout the film is that there are moments within a very unsettling scene in which he'll try and get in a laugh, and there are a couple of spots into which a laugh is attempted to be had, but it comes off rather awkward and cringeworthy rather than a genuine laugh. And Hereditary was a pretty polarizing film. Midsommar is going to be even more so like that. This movie is either going to be having people either absolutely loving it, or people are going to absolutely despise Midsommar. So overall, Midsommar is easily one of the most unique cinematic experiences I have seen in the horror genre. I don't think a movie in the horror genre is going to do what Midsommar does. This film is not going to be for everybody. It's just not going to be for everybody. But all in all, I thought that Midsommar was excellent, so I'm going to give Midsommar a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I definitely prefer Hereditary. That film just impacted me in so many ways, but still, if you're looking for a very unsettling pagan horror film, I would suggest checking this one out. But once again, I will reiterate this, and just a warning, this is not for everybody. Alright guys, so comment down and let me know below. Are you all really excited about Midsommar? Are you not excited about Midsommar? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if y'all want to follow me on any of those social media platforms, all the links to the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Midsommar. If so, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever a new video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click either right there or there. And of course, until my next review or video, I will see you all next time.